This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the build.
Nifty, base 58, Texas.
Canoeing is an outdoor activity that involves propelling a canoe, typically a narrow and open boat, through water using paddles. Canoeing is one of the oldest forms of water travel and has a rich history dating back thousands of years. Is a canoe your favorite transportation?
Yes.
Were you victim of a boating accident last weekend in Austin?
No.
Is it true that one of your dogs is named Anon?
No.
Gemstones are precious or semi-precious minerals that have been prized for their beauty, rarity, and durability throughout human history. These natural minerals have been used for various purposes, including jewelry, decoration, healing, and symbolism. Is it hard to combine collecting gemstones and stacking sets?
Yes.
Do you have the school teacher energy?
Yes, I think so.
The Nissan 350Z is a sports car that gained popularity for its performance, styling, and affordability. The 350Z, also known as the Nissan Fairlady Z, is in some markets was introduced by Nissan in 2002 as a successor to the Nissan 300ZX. It was produced until 2008, marking the fifth generation of Nissan's Z cars lineage. Is this the hottest car on the planet?
Yes.
Do you own more than 5 computers?
Yes.
Are we going to see you at our meetup at Brai after the first conference day of Bitcoin Amsterdam?
Yes.
Coffee is one of the world's most popular beverages, enjoyed by millions of people daily for its rich flavor, stimulating effects, and social significance. The word coffee entered the English language in 1582 via the Dutch koffie, borrowed from the Ottoman Turkish kahve, borrowed in turn from the Arabic kawa. Do you know kawa actually means wine, and so does coffee?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connect the World weekly podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 89. I was almost making a mistake. 89 already of Connect the World. And this show is made possible by our friends from BL3P, the European Bitcoin Exchange. Thank you guys for helping us out to complete our mission. And if you also want to help out, then head over to our Telegram group where you can ask us anything or follow us on Twitter, at YouTube. Subscribe there. And if you want to make a donation, you can use our donation bots. Conecta el mundo.
Welcome to the show,
Welcome,
Nifty.
Lisa.
Welcome back.
Yeah, Nifty. It was a year ago. I'm curious again. Steph put this question in. Is it true that one of your dogs is named Anon? Where did you read it?
I read it on Twitter.
Yeah?
But I think I was wrong.
I referred to
I mean,
her
poor
as
dog,
Anon.
right?
It would be cute. Now that
No,
I'm
really?
thinking about it, yeah. If I get another dog, maybe
Okay.
I'll call him Anon because that's funny. No, my dog's names are Saba and Ginger.
Okay. And
Those are
really cute names.
Are they like a brother and sister, or a sister, brother and brother, or
No, they're unrelated. They're similar.
Okay.
They're both half poodle, so they're similar breed, but they're not related at all.
okay? And what brought you to Austin last weekend?
I came to Austin to be a Bitcoin developer because it's the best place to be a Bitcoin developer now. I think I'm hanging out. I'm doing a residency at the Plug Lab in downtown Austin, so I have an office for Base 58 there, and just trying to make the Bitcoin developer community bigger by being here and by inviting more people to get involved. So.
But how is the Bitcoin scene there? Is it vibrant, or is it
Yeah, I think
Are there
it's
many
really
shops you can pay with sats? Are there many merchants on board? How it's like?
That's a good question. I don't go out much, so I don't. None of the merchants I go to except Sats. There's a couple of restaurants that I know you can like. There's a couple steakhouses and maybe coffee shops that you can do Sats at. But none of the places I frequent do that. Maybe we should get the taco place across from Club Lab to take Sats because that's probably the place I spend the most like money on a day-to-day basis is buying tacos next to Club Lab.
That would be great.
Yeah. So, but I think in terms of like Bitcoin developers being in one place and people building like Bitcoin startups and projects, I think Austin has like the strongest concentration. If not, I'm trying to like make it the place that has the strongest concentration by telling everyone that it's the place you should come. So if you're working on a Bitcoin project or trying to level up becoming a Bitcoin developer, open source or not, you should come hang out in Austin.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, but then it must be also the place to onboard new merchants. But I can imagine, here in Holland, some people are very, how do you say it? They love to onboard new merchants, right? And I'm also always thinking because I go to the barbershop, the same barbershop every 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm like, okay, this is because when you're in the chair, you have like 30 to 40 minutes to convince the barber to just take my sets, right? Just me be able to pay with Bitcoin.
Yeah,
there.
but on a chill manner, right? Just telling the story of what you're doing or something, and then not pushing it down.
I didn't do it up until now, so I don't know why. It's maybe because it's just like it's not something you just start talking about, right?
No, that's right.
Maybe if you ask me what but this is not my profession. It's just a hobby.
The only thing is that when we're organizing a meetup or Dutch people are organizing something to hang out on a place or listen to other Bitcoiners talk, then they all want to be able to spend their sets there. So to have a whole experience of so that taco place, I think that's the first thing that the Dutchies would think about. To get them orange built and just to add to the experience, because it's fun to be with everybody that is Bitcoin minded, and then also be able to make use of it, and for a merchant to swallow the whole scene. That's fun. You can do that at Bri because you're coming. So
you already told us. Yeah, and I now see Nifty, by the way, on btcmap.org. I don't know where you're located exactly in Austin, but there are 34 shops, merchants, restaurants that accept Bitcoin in Austin. So, enough to get you through the week, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to check that list out. That's a really great idea. I know that like the Bitcoin, so the place we're holding Bitcoin plus in Berlin, so not Texas, it'll be in Germany. We're doing it at a venue at this place called Holzmarkt, which is a really nice kind of like, they've got a lot of street vendors and like food court kind of stuff. It's a really great place, but one of the coffee shops there takes Bitcoin. So when I was in Berlin this summer looking at spots where we might hold the conference, we got to go get a coffee and a slice of cake paid for it with Bitcoin.
Great, that sounds great, yeah.
And how's your German then, Nifty?
Neigut.
Neigut.
Oh yeah.
You have some weeks to go. Right?
Because it's a whole European month then, because you're going to Bitcoin Amsterdam and then and Germany.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go to Prague beforehand. They're doing the Hackers Congress at Prague Polis the weekend before. I'm really excited about checking it out. I'm hoping they pick me to talk. I submitted a talk submission this last week.
Great.
And then I'll be at Bitcoin Plus the week after that in Berlin. And then I'll be in Amsterdam for the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference, as well as the Inspiring Amsterdam.
Doing something there on
I'm
stage?
talking, yeah.
You're a speaker, right?
I am, awesome. Definitely.
Can you already tell us what are you in a panel or are you on stage?
I think it's a panel.
What's your role?
I don't know. I'm kind of a last minute figure things outer. So I'm sure like Monday before the conference, I'll be going back through my email to find, wait, don't let, I hope the conference organizers don't use this. I'm going to be very prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but of course, I totally understand. That's better. Makes the story good, right?
It'll be fresh. Whatever I come up with will be, you know, fresh information because I'll have looked it up right before I get on stage.
And you have the school teacher energy, so if it's it's a different panel, then
and if you want us to teach you some Dutch words, you just need to hit us up because we have some.
You guys are going to be in Amsterdam.
Of course,
sure.
Last year we were also there. Yeah. So
yeah. We will have our own podcast booth again, like last year. We share this. We share like it's a great corner in one of the restaurants at the venue, and we share it with Satoshi Radio. That's the Dutch podcast we collaborate with.
And we have a couch, so you can sit there and be interviewed. It's fun. It's really a community corner.
Yeah. So we will definitely see you there.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Great.
Yeah. Cool. But now we also prepared some nice questions for you about Base 58 and some general lightning questions. But it has to be in the 21 minutes, Nifty. So if you're ready, we would really love to enter that part.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Conectează lumea.
So, Base 58, not all listeners are coders, of course. It is not only an encoding scheme, but also a Bitcoin Protocol Academy. And we talked about it shortly in an earlier episode in a highlight. But we now see the name Base 58 on multiple places on the internet because you're very busy with it. What is it for our listeners, and can you explain it a little bit? And why is it so important for the whole Bitcoin and Lightning ecosystem?
Yeah, so Base 58 is like a project I started last year. Kind of came off of me trying to write a technical textbook about how Bitcoin works. I haven't published the textbook yet, but I have gotten classes out, so you can come take classes online on Udemy, and then I started doing some in person for like the newer material. So the whole goal behind Base 58 is that it's a place that you can come and learn about how Bitcoin works, like at the level of like the protocol. Like, what is the data that's in a Bitcoin transaction? How does it all fit together? How do you lock Bitcoin up? How do you spend Bitcoin? How do you make signatures? Where does the crypto part of cryptocurrency for Bitcoin come in? We currently have a class up on Udemy. It's the first half of our original Bitcoin transactions class. I'm this close to getting the second half published on Udemy, but I keep getting delayed with travel. So hopefully by the time this airs, we'll have 2 classes up online. So next week. And then I also do in-person classes where I teach you about Taproot, which is the latest protocol update to soft fork to Bitcoin. And then I just started doing a Lightning class. The whole kind of point behind it is that we like don't focus on any particular like implementation or any particular code base. We literally just look at what is the data, what's going on, how does it work. So by the time you get to the end of class, you have like probably one of the deeper understandings of how Bitcoin actually does the things that we all like know and love, right? Like transacting, etc.
Yeah, and we all know Chaincode Labs. Edward did the Bitcoin and Lightning seminar series. What makes Base 58 different, and who is it for? What's your audience that you have in mind?
Yeah, so I haven't done any like Chaincode stuff yet, so it's kind of hard to do a comparison. But just from talking to people who have done both Base 58 and Chaincode, I think Chaincode is like really amazing in terms of giving like a really good overview of what the research problems are in Bitcoin, how the system works, understanding like what is a 51% attack. They do discussion sessions and fellowships around what current research is. So I think like they're really good in terms of like getting kind of a good theoretical understanding of what Bitcoin is and what the Bitcoin challenges are for the protocol and how it works. Base 58 aims to be like very hands-on, nuts and bolts. Like I want to be able to write Bitcoin scripts. I want to be able to build a app that uses Bitcoin transactions and I want to understand what the data is in there. So like the exercises, we're really like, I would almost say like we're really more focused on like an implementation level of like, let's learn what the protocol is, how it works. And part of the exercises that you go through in Base 58's like Bitcoin classes will be re-implementing all the parts for yourself. So by the end of class, you'll like have practiced building little parts of how, like little parts of things that let you transact with Bitcoin at like a really deep level. So you get like a more hands-on understanding of what's actually happening.
Yeah, so you need at least some basic knowledge of coding to start.
Yeah,
And
so
maybe,
we're kind of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, and maybe even more than basic knowledge if you go for the real deep dive.
I've had some people come through the class who like, it was their first intro to programming. They have to do a lot more work because it's a lot more stuff to learn. I kind of like to think of like the current class offerings that we have as being like kind of targeted like that intermediate to advanced level of programmer. Like, you know, when you're getting into programming, there's lots of material. And then as you try to get from like being an intro to like sort of a more intermediate experienced devs, you kind of like start running out of resources. Base 58 is really like our current curriculum really wants to be kind of that like advanced technical training for people who really just want to understand Bitcoin, but they already have some experience programming, et cetera. Or maybe they've done some stuff in Bitcoin already, but they really just want to make sure they filled in all the gaps.
Yeah, because I've been reading through testimonials, and it also seems that that they also learn the fundamentals, right? So the basic of Bitcoin, how it works. I can imagine if you are a developer and are interested in Bitcoin, then it's a great place to get started, right? Because I also see the Bitcoin developer basics, so that must be the first step. To
100%. Yeah. And it's the sort of information you'd want to know before you can start getting more involved in more in-depth conversations, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
And what are the different courses that you offer at the moment?
Yeah, so we've got one class up on Udemy. I'm looking to get a second one up on Udemy. The first one on the two on Udemy are called Bitcoin Developer Basics. One of them is about transactions and script. The other one is about digital signatures and like ECDSA stuff. So it's more on the crypto side of it, but still all around Bitcoin transactions and how you make Bitcoin scripts using signatures then. So then the first half of the class, you make scripts with no signatures. The second half of the class, you learn about all the crypto and you start making transactions with like actual signatures on them, which is fun. And at the end, like the end of the class is like you do a multi-sig. I also have 2 in-person classes that I'm working on figuring out how to like turn those into like online classes at some point. I don't know when, probably next year. But for now, if you want to take it, there's an in-person class. We're doing them in Austin in November. So you have to come to Texas, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah. It's not the worst, I don't think. So coming out at Austin, and I'm doing a Taproot and a Lightning class. So it's like hands-on,
Awesome.
Learn how Lightning and Taproot.
That's also a way of learning that some people really need or like better. So in person, if you want to make a real deep dive, then I think it goes faster than to do it all by yourself. So making it online is possible, of course, if you have some contact in between. To get the help you need. And I was thinking, is there the best order to learn all these kind of things? So first start with Bitcoin,
question,
and because I see lightning bolts in a flash, and that's amazing, of course. And I remember starting with the Lightning seminar series at Chaincode, and people saying, "No, you must do the Bitcoin first." But what do you recommend for developer to? Of course, he wants to build a Lightning app, but are the Bitcoin fundamentals important to swallow whole at first and then continue?
These are great questions that I like feel like as like someone, you know, I'm building classes because it's the stuff I feel like I want people to know. People keep asking me, okay, what do I need to know? And I'm like, I can't like. I feel like if you're trying to build an application, the Base 58 Lightning class is probably a good starting place. And then, you know, you get into it and then there'll probably be a few things you don't understand or like you have questions about transactions that come out of taking the class, and then you could go back and take the Bitcoin basics class, etc. Yeah, I feel like Base 58 classes are kind of like I almost want to call them like the eat your veggies, like sort of like they're really good for super curious people who really want to understand how it works. They're really amazing for builders who want to like supercharge their ability to like participate in conversations or like be like really more effective at working with Bitcoin and like Lightning. So like really understanding problems and like what's going on when you have a node, etc. I have yet to actually like build out any classes that are like, I want to write a Lightning app. Here's like the 10-minute thing of how to like write a Lightning app, right? So we don't have that kind of education quite yet, but I'm hoping we'll build out into it in like next year.
Cool. Yeah. And you also put up a Bitcoin Plus Plus, a developer-focused conference series. And we mentioned it earlier in one of the highlights of the show, by the way. People can recognize it. What are these conferences series and what is the target audience? Because I can imagine that, well, this may be similar to the audience that you will attract with Base 58, but maybe you can tell us some more about it.
Yeah, so Bitcoin Plus Plus is an international Bitcoin developer conference series. So it's like targeted at and for and by developers. Every single one that I run, I pick a new theme because who doesn't love a theme party? So the theme of this next one we're doing in October in Berlin is this project called Nix Bitcoin. So we're talking about Nix and how Nix is helping transform the build, development, deployment process around open source software, particularly Bitcoin. So that's going to be a super fun 2 days. We're also going to have like so the first day is going to be all talks and workshops. The second day will just be like time to hack, work on your project, implement, like maybe get Nix installed and get help doing that. Like, so it's really just an opportunity to like build and like show off what you've built at the end of the day. So it should be a really good 2 days. Yeah, but for like, in terms of like, who do we expect to come? Like, what's the audience? It's 100% the same people that we expect or want to do Base 58 stuff, right? So this is like our opportunity to like build that community of people that want to come into the Bitcoin developer space, but don't know where to start. Maybe you want to meet some friends or like you want to get started on a project, but you kind of just like don't know what project needs help. The idea is that we'll be able to build all the people building on stuff together so they can like share ideas, find new contributors, tell new people about what they're working on, and like, you know, just get more involved and build stronger connections between all the Bitcoin builders across like that particular niche.
Yeah. So it's like Base 58 on tour.
Yeah, exactly. And I need to work on getting more Base 58 students to come to them or like tell people that they're Base 58. So you can see like, you know, what the benefit.
So, and you know, Nix, well, you know what Nix means in Dutch?
I don't know.
It means nothing.
Nothing.
So it's
Nada.
like if you talk about teams, then it's good that you didn't organize in Holland because then the team was nothing. You know, we were just going to have a conference about nothing.
Yeah, which is going to be a great nothing conference. So I really hope everyone comes to talk about nothing with us.
All about nothing.
All about nothing. It's a nothing focused Bitcoin conference.
Well, there are a lot of accelerated programs out there, and also Bolt.fun is more like a community-based Lightning place, and also for Noster, it's a great way with organizing tournaments and that kind of things. And is it right that I see Base 58 more as a knowledge-based protocol level also? And my question is, are there also some builders that you think, well, these projects will eventually are going to be real life usage? So people are going to use it, and these will become companies someday.
That's a good question. I don't think I have an answer. I don't think I have a good answer for that. Well, can you give me an example of like what kind of project? Like,
yeah, because sometimes there are some projects that are starting and need not only the knowledge but also people to connect to. So a developer needs another developer or someone who is good at organizing things or some marketing stuff. So really, if you're talking about startups, then I think knowledge is not the only thing that you need.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like that's kind of like the team building or like the matchmaking that you need between like this person is whatever. We don't really focus on that right now. We're mostly focused on like just the devs, like, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been working in open source and like, we don't need no products. We just like, we're just builders out there building.
So experimenting, that's better.
Yeah, but I recognize that that's got limitations in terms of your ability to get adoption reach, like actually build a product that you bring to market. So, I have a friend that started up a whole startup to help do matchmaking for founders like outside the Bitcoin space. Maybe at some point we could get that kind of organization working in Bitcoin, but it's I don't know of anyone now.
It's not the first step, so I think you're doing it right. Yeah.
Hey, we love the world famous Bitcoin LARP you're offering. Can you explain what it is and how you came up with it?
Yeah, so this like kind of comes out of, so the LARP is a hands-on. LARP stands for live action role play. So it's a big group game. You need like 20 people to really make it work. You can get up to like 20 to 40 people. And the idea is that you kind of, with people, divide them up into small teams, and every small team becomes a Bitcoin node. And then you have a bunch of Bitcoin nodes on a network. And so we get physical string and we tie them all together. Like everyone holds strings, and then we get messages and we send messages around between the strings. And then we get transactions. And so you have to write transactions, and you have a blockchain, and you get every table gets a certain amount of Bitcoin to start with. And then, we like walk through like, okay, how do you send a transaction to all the other nodes? Like how does data move across the peer-to-peer network? Like, what does that look like? What messages do you have to send? How do you write a Bitcoin transaction? How do you include a Bitcoin transaction in a block? And so we kind of go through phases of like, we're writing transactions, we're sending transactions, we're building blocks, we're mining for blocks. Now we're all competing as nodes to get the next block, and then it like kind of all goes into chaos at the end. So everyone's like trying to compete to get the winning block, and then you find a block and
let's
like,
play grief attack.
Exactly.
No,
So
but this is really fun. I was immediately
or someone says, well, let's open up a Lightning channel. You can open up a whole new world, new nodes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's fun, right? Like it's a real like it's really close to how Bitcoin actually works. So what is you're actually doing is like real. Like it's not like sometimes people come up with games and it doesn't really match what reality is. This game is like as true to life almost as you can get. There's like a few places that we veer off, but for 90% of it, it's like you were doing what Bitcoin does. So it's super useful because people learn a lot. They're like, oh, I didn't know that.
This is fun for the Rings of Fire group, Steph. This really is fun.
Yeah, man.
Because all those people have nodes and they're practicing with their nodes, but to play it out and learning more.
But I'm also thinking about the proof of workshop. I'm also thinking about the proof of workshop stage at Bitcoin Amsterdam, right?
Yeah,
you need
definitely. Combining it with Rings of Fire.
Yeah. Well. Because I think we don't have enough time to prepare for this kind of
to play it with the audience, right? It's a great educational way to make it more tactile. I think because Lightning is difficult to explain. So
that's kind of where the idea came from. So I work as an educator, right? I do telling people about deeply technical things in such a way that they can understand it. As like kind of one of the fun things I like doing. And one thing that I learned about people is like, I'm really different from most people because I write code and I'm very good at understanding complicated things in my head, right? I can see maps of how things work inside my head. And that's not most people, is my understanding. Most people's understanding of the world comes from what they're able to see and touch and feel. And the understanding it in terms of like frameworks, it's just, people have different experiences of the world. They navigate it differently. So understanding Bitcoin is really hard if you're a person who needs to touch things to understand them, right? To like understand what's happening, you have to see it. So LARP is an opportunity for us to get everyone, no matter like what kind of like way you process information or whether you like seeing maps in your head or whether you're just really good at like doing detailed accounting on paper. Like everyone has different skills and things that they're good at. So this is an attempt to make it so that everyone can like touch the things and look at it and like see how it works like physically in like a physical manner. And you've got a group of friends on your team that you're competing, and then you're competing with other people. So it's like this kind of fun group thing, and you're all learning together. And usually I'm kind of a lazy teacher. I'll be like, if someone on your group figures it out, I'll make them explain it to you, So it's like I'm like, oh, they think they get it. Why don't you explain it to the person who doesn't understand it, right? So we kind of get into
that
this.
Works the best. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, like everyone on the group is like teaching each other, and like you figure it out, you explain it to someone else what you figured out kind of thing. So it's like a fun, decentralized learning opportunity because everyone in their little corners is like learning how all this stuff works.
Hey, and LARPing aside, you must have a wish list for the future for Base 58. What's on the top of that list?
Top of the list is that I figure out how to get more people teaching my content. So like more teachers, like pyramid scheme. I want to build like a pyramid scheme for Bitcoin education
in a positive way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like for pyramid schemes for good. So I love teaching and I love doing this stuff, but a lot of the curriculum's kind of locked up in my head to a large extent. Like I'll show up at a class and use a whiteboard and talk for 3 hours for 5 days in a row. So I can do 20 hours of talking and teaching without notes, no problem.
Amazing.
But that doesn't scale.
No, that's
so right. My top wish is that I can figure out how to like make curriculum and tangible like coursework that other people can teach, so that we can really start expanding Bitcoin technical education, not just to places that I'm able to show up because my time is like only so much, right? But like out to everywhere in the world, like Asia and Latin America and all across Europe and Africa.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my wish
great
list
to have native speakers to be able to do that. Yeah. Awesome. That's great ambition.
I'm also curious, Nifty, because within our community, there's a lot of discussion nowadays with people that just are entering the space, and now you organizing all those classes in Base 58. How do you envision the difference between custodial and non-custodial Lightning wallets? What's your take on that? What do you recommend for people that start with the Base 58 courses, for instance?
Yeah, so we don't really talk too much about how to like hold Bitcoin in class. We just talk about how Bitcoin works. But if you're asking, if I was going to onboard someone to Lightning, I think I would have them buy in the US. So this works in the US. I don't think it works other places, unfortunately. The wallet app that I would suggest people use is the one that Eclair or Async out of France has put together. I think the Phoenix wallet is like...
Yeah.
It's the one that I have like the least amount of reservations about telling people to use. Like Wallet of Satoshi is really useful in terms of onboarding, but I wouldn't want people to get rugged if Wallet of Satoshi goes away, which I'm sure it'll be around for a long time, fingers crossed. But I think that like Phoenix is like my go-to Lightning wallet. I tell people I would buy Bitcoin on Cash App and send it to your Phoenix wallet over Lightning. It would be how I do that.
Okay, one more lightning question. We can still manage. What steps do you think need to be taken to improve the overall reliability and robustness of the Lightning Network? If you could maybe figure out one thing that is the most important.
I need more people putting their money in Lightning. So we need more Bitcoiners who are looking to get more Bitcoin and want to put it in Lightning. So there's lots of liquidity available.
And then if they want to, the people that want to enter Bitcoin and Lightning, then there is Base 58 and a lot of other projects, and they can just learn all about it, right? That I think that's great, because first there was nothing, just people experimenting, and now we have a knowledge base, and awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the other lightning questions are for another time. Conecta el mundo.
We are still one question left for you, Nifty. We can play a little lightning bingo. We prepared 3 questions for you, but you only may choose one. And you can choose from Evan Kaludis from Sue's Wallet, from Brandon Green, he's from BTC Inc., and from Johns Bahari, he's from Bolt Fun.
I want to know what Evan's question is.
Perfect. Let's play that for you.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, this is Evan Kaludis from Zeus. I have a question for y'all. What does success for Bitcoin look like to you?
Ooh, okay. Success for Bitcoin to me. I feel like Bitcoin has already been successful. That's awful, maybe to say. Okay, wait, hang on. I have a better answer. I'm a happy Bitcoiner. I'm an optimist. I feel like we're doing great things. I'm like really excited about like the number of new developers coming to the ecosystem is I feel like higher than it's been in a long time, and that makes me super bullish. So, but I think like, just making sure that people have the tools that they need to be able to understand how Bitcoin works like a decade from now would be, I think.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you that I'm also a happy Bitcoiner. I mean, I'm super bullish on all the stuff we've built and I can use. But the one thing that I really would love to see is that it's just being used more, right? So just more people on board and just like. Some of my friends are Bitcoiners, but I think the majority of them, they know what it is, but they haven't used it. Maybe they have some sets, but they never use them. And I'm like, let's just use them.
I think the time is coming because all the developers are focusing on user friendliness, interoperability. So that's and building standards, LSP, right? So that kind of things are making it easier for people to enter the space. And then,
but you can do so much fun things with Bitcoin. It's so easy to use, right? If you have a little bit of knowledge, obviously. But I'm like,
and Ben Arc, right? We need the experimenting and to make it fun.
But none of my friends are that tech savvy. I must disappoint you, man. Let's just first get them a Lightning wallet and send some sets to each other.
Yeah, and a place to buy your beer or something else to add to the experience, right? So we're gonna do that at Brai in Amsterdam.
Sure, we will.
Making it fun.
Well, thanks, Nifty. We can give a prize away. Maybe you can pronounce you can announce the prize.
So we're giving away 2 tickets to connect the world listeners to Bitcoin Plus Plus. The offer is, so the way that you can win the tickets is by making a tweet talking about either Nix or Bitcoin or, the upcoming Bitcoin Plus Plus conference and put the hashtag BTC Berlin, BTCPP Berlin in it. And then on end of October 1st. So I guess at the end of the day of October 1st, we'll see which of those tweets has the most likes and retweets. And that's the person that will offer up the 2 tickets to the conference
awesome.
So we're
the conference
excited.
in Berlin, right? To be sure.
The Berlin one,
yeah.
Though if someone wanted to delay it, if you can't make it to Berlin and you want the tickets to be transferred to either of our upcoming conferences, we could talk about that too.
Okay, cool.
The Berlin conference is about Nix, right? So interesting, awesome,
cool. Thanks.
Connecter le monde.
Okay, so where can people follow you, Nifty? You already told us last time, but it's good to repeat, maybe.
Yeah, you can always find me on Twitter at Nifty, Nifty, Niftynei, Nei. And then you can also find Base 58 at Base 58 BTC. We also have a Discord. I think if you sign up for our Udemy class, it'll give you instructions on how to get onto the Discord. But if you want to hop on and see what we're talking about, it's a small but pretty knowledgeable, smart community. Feel free to reach out to me directly or and I can invite you into the Discord, which is great.
Awesome. Thanks again, Nifty. And thanks for all the other listeners. And thanks to all members participating in Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. So if you like our content, then please support our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. So we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running. sets flowing and rings burning. And see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Adeus,
Tot ziens.
Lisa.